Right, what's happening, people, and welcome back to the Joey Knight podcast. Now, I need you lot to do me a favour. At the end of this video, if you enjoyed the content, you want to see more from myself, hit the subscribe button and also click the bell, because then you get notified every time one of my videos gets uploaded. Anyway, into the video. Before a ball was kicked, if someone had said to me, in a dream scenario that isn't a million miles off from reality, what would you want to see from Chelsea in this pre-season? I would have said the following. The first thing that I want to see is the emergence of a togetherness within the squad. You know, the team bonding and building in spirit. Well, we've definitely seen that. The second thing I would have wanted to see implemented by Pochettino is a style of play. And note that I don't say a change of style of play. I just want a style of play, because last season we didn't have one. And already we can see that that is happening. Now, last season we scored just 38 league goals, which, let's be honest, is embarrassing. The season before that we scored, 72? So to think you had that slashed in half last season, it's nothing short of pathetic, really. We just couldn't find the back of the net. And in this pre-season so far, I'm looking at how things are playing out. I'm looking at how the players up top are playing, the confidence they have. And let's be honest, right? 12 goals in 4 matches ain't bad going at all. So that has obviously gone a long way to putting my mind at rest when it comes to our problems finding the back of the net. But I don't think that even in my wildest of dreams, being that I support a club that has an infamous number 9 curse, and we haven't really found a player that can consistently put the ball in the back of the net all that often while being a threat up top, bringing our other wide players in. In my wildest of dreams, I don't think I could have wished for the emergence of a number 9 that us as Chelsea fans can really get excited about. But that's what we've seen so far in Nicholas Jackson. He is a player that now, going into this season, myself and a lot of other Chelsea fans are hanging our hat on the fact that he could be the player to get us 20 league goals next season. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is that so far, literally all our dreams we could have wished for have happened in this pre-season. Last night, we capped off a really successful pre-season tour of the United States, beating Fulham 2-0 and lifting the Premier League Summer Series Cup, I think it's called. And do you know what, right? If someone had said to me at the start of last season, you're going to have the worst season you've had in years, there's going to be so much instability around the club, every rival fan is going to be praying that you drop off and continue one of the worst big club downfalls that any of us have ever seen in our lifetime. But at the end of that awful season, you go on to lift the Premier League Summer Series Cup. I think I would have bit your hand off for it. No, I'm joking. We're not Spurs. We don't celebrate things like that. But the style of play's been good. And do you know what? If it's a start of means to come, I can't massively argue with it. It's good to lift some sort of silverware pre-season or not. And I'm really happy from what I'm seeing. Even in last night's performance, as I touched on, I don't think we played all that well, but at the same time, a lot of boxes are being ticked as we go on through this pre-season. Last night, what we did is won in what I would class as unspectacular fashion, and I don't mind us winning many more games in this fashion, because last night was exactly the sort of game that, going on last season's money, we probably wouldn't have got over the line in. I don't think we'd have beat Fulham last season. I don't think we'd have been Brighton a couple of days ago last season. I think we would have lost to Newcastle. So to go and grind out those performances and get the wins in the end is massively beneficial going forward. It shows what Pochettino is already implementing, and that is a structure within this team and a discipline within this team to get these results over the line. One of the traits that you look at every single team that qualify for those Champions League spots, and one of the traits that all of them will have, is they know how to get these wins over the line, even when their performance maybe doesn't warrant a win. And I'm not saying we didn't warrant a win last night. I'm just saying that maybe it was one of our lesser performances in pre-season, but all that being said, we still won, and we still won comfortably. Winners win even when they don't perform, and last season when we didn't perform, the teams that we were playing were usually able to smell a bit of vulnerability around us. And when you look at last night's performance, we didn't set the world on fire, but we pretty much nullified Fulham. We scored 2 first half goals through Thiago Silva and Nkunku, and apart from that, we just controlled the game. Now, the most glaringly obvious thing that Pochettino has implemented for me, and you could see it from last night's performance, was an intensity in that front line. And what I mean is not attacking, but actually in defending. As soon as we lost the ball, the intensity within the front line was tenfold on what we had seen last season. The front 3 or 4 players have clearly been told to jump on the opposition when they get on the ball, and last night night, we were seeing it come off time in, time out. Now, Carney Chukwuemeka done this really well last night. As soon as the Fulham defence got on the ball, they would try and play out from the back. However, the pressing of players like Carney Chukwuemeka, Nkunku, Ian Matson, players in that front line, putting them under pressure straight away, which meant that if we didn't win the ball there and then, what would end up happening is a Fulham defender would usually put through a ill-timed pass or a poor judged pass to a player that maybe didn't have the space that they would like if they were afforded that time, and it would lead to us winning possession again. And look, this is just one point, but the tactical adjustments that we're seeing already from Pochettino are so glaringly obvious. I'm telling you now, Mauricio Pochettino has already transformed this Chelsea side. So, just for you lot, later on in the week, myself and Josh Aveste are going to be getting in the studio together, and we are going to do a video explaining exactly how Pochettino has already transformed this Chelsea side. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. But back to last night's game, and the first player that I want to talk about is Carney Chukwuemeka. The level of this boy on the ball is ridiculous. Last season, Chukwuemeka was a rare glimmering light of hope in a time when everything seemed to be a bit dark. Whenever he gets on the ball, you feel like something's going to happen. Very good in tight spaces, very good first touch, and he is a player that I can see getting a lot of minutes under Mauricio Pochettino this season. When I'm looking at it and I'm thinking about the sort of position and the job that I thought Mason Mount might do for Mauricio Pochettino, I'm looking at how this pre-season's gone, and I'm sort of thinking maybe Carney Chukwuemeka might be the player going forward that will carry that sort of Mason Mount role in this team. He's got an eye for both goals and assists, and I'm really excited to see where this kid's future goes. Lewis Hall had a half-hour cameo playing out on the left-hand side and looked really, really good. Now, Hall's one that I suggested could flourish out on a loan at a Premier League side this season, and I do still sort of stand by that. What you got to remember is we've got so much young talent in this team that it's unrealistic and probably naive of us to think that all of these players are going to be getting minutes next season. But Lewis Hall, Cassidy, Chukwuemeka, Santos, maybe Matson, they are all a lot closer to the first team this season coming than I see the likes of maybe Moreira, Angelo, Mason Burstow being. So I do think that they're the players that if we don't see them go out on loan will feature, but even in those players I've just named, one or two are going to go out on loan. But if Lewis Hall does stay at Chelsea this season, then I can definitely see Pochettino using him. He's a good option as a left-sided central midfield player. And I know that I've spoke before on experience being a big thing that we need. But looking at how this pre-season's going, maybe Pochettino's not too bothered about the experience sort of thing, and he's just going to go for it with the kids. You know, they say that ignorance is bliss and the naivety of youth. And you know what? When we look at maybe that naivety of being a bit more forthright in wanting to go and take the game to an opponent, yes, it will lead at one or two times to us getting counter-attacked and maybe dropping results here and there, but what it will also lead to is a lot more good nights at Stamford Bridge, a lot more wins over top-level opposition because we're actually coming and trying to take the game to them rather than sitting back and waiting for an opportunity to arise, which going on last season, it never did. And my soft spot for a player has always been one that carries the ball well. Maybe why I gravitated more towards the likes of Mateo Kovacic than I ever did Jorginho. And because of that ball carrying ability, Lewis Hall has found it very easy to win me over. What I would want to know from you lot is, where does Lewis Hall even play? Is he a left back? Is he a centre midfielder? Last night he played left wing. What position do you lot think Lewis Hall is best in? Now, there are a lot of players that I could talk about from last night, but the fact that I've now got this home set up means you lot are going to hear and see a lot more of me. So for this video, I want to cap it off talking about Christopher Nkunku. He grabbed another goal, which makes it 3 for pre-season, and for me, this boy hasn't even got out of second gear yet. So there's two ways of looking at Nkunku's pre-season. Maybe people that are more negative could look at it and go, oh, well, we haven't really seen him get that involved in the build-up play and do all that much yet, but maybe he just hasn't needed to. What he has done is shown that he understands the game very well. There is a real skill to being in the right place at the right time, and if you look at 2 of them goals that were tap-ins, he had to be in the right place at the right time to be able to read the game well enough to know that the ball was going to fall to him there. The reason not every striker can score tap-ins is not every striker is in the position knowing that the ball's going to end up there. So what I do think is that what we've seen from Christopher Nkunku so far is that he has really good vision and really good anticipation. Yeah, I'm obviously looking forward to seeing how he does against top-level Premier League defenders, but there can only be good to come in my opinion. I know that even at the start of this pre-season, maybe before a ball was kicked, I was asking the question, do Chelsea still need a number 9? And I'm a little bit embarrassed now that I was sort of saying about the likes of, do we need to go in for Dusan Vlahovic? I'm telling you now, with Nkunku, Jackson, and the wide players stepping up to the plate like we've seen from them in this pre-season, Chelsea do not need to go and sign a number 9. We are going to have no problems in finding the back of the net next season. And you know what? I just cannot wait for that first game of the season against Liverpool now. We have obviously still got, one pre-season match left, which is against Dortmund. It's in the early hours, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, whatever you want to call it. But as I say, me and Josh Avesti, we will be getting in the studio on Thursday and we will be recording a few different bits of Chelsea content for you lot. So let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. What did you think of the performance last night? Are there players that I haven't mentioned that do deserve a shout out for last night's performance? And ultimately, what are your thoughts now the America tour is done, pre-season? How do you think it's gone? I will be trying to get back to all of you once this video drops. I'll be in the comments, so let me know and I'll try and respond. And also, if you've made it to the end of the video, do me a massive favour. Subscribe to the channel. We are growing massively by the day, so don't miss out. Make sure you're here and part of this growing community, and I will see you all in the next one.